Hey, Pastor Dan here from Dexter Gospel Church with our next Proverbs Practical. Thanks for watching. In our last video, we saw something about the power of generosity. This next verse makes an observation about getting both or all the sides of a story. A really helpful observation in a day of hot takes and constant offense. We're in Proverbs 18:17. Proverbs 18:17 says, "He that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searcheth him." So the person who's first in his own cause, that's the person who kind of jumps up and tells everybody their side of the story. They may feel that they were wronged or discriminated against or have some mission that they're trying to accomplish, some cause that they're trying to advance. Notably, they have the first word, they're first in their cause, and it is their own cause that they are advancing. And really, when an issue comes up, being first to the punch is powerful. In boxing, the guy that lands the first punch often wins the fight. And in matters of society and politics and issues, the person who speaks first, well, they get to shape the terms and definitions of the conversation or debate. They get to get their side in before anybody else gets their side in. And so for a time, because they went first and nobody else has spoken yet, it sounds like their side is the only side, the true side, the just, the righteous side. Having the first word can often be as powerful as having the last word, especially if you can persuade people so thoroughly by that first word that they don't even really listen to the arguments or disputes from the other side. They won't listen to any other perspective or argument because they're already convinced by the person who spoke first. But the first word is rarely the last word. Eventually, people start poking into things. They start asking about the other side of the story. They start wondering what might have been left out, what the context might be, whether everything the first person said was really accurate, whether there's some other perspective they should be seeing. A classic example would be the case of the shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri a few years ago. When that shooting first happened, it was reported on the basis of eyewitnesses as the unprovoked shooting in the back of an unarmed black teenager by a white police officer. People claimed that the police officer shot at his back, he raised his hands, said, "Don't shoot." The first in the cause against racial injustice were often quick to speak, to make accusations, to frame the debate. But then the neighbors came by and started asking questions, as the verse says is going to happen. It turns out that the 18-year-old had actually reached into the police car and attacked the officer. Then as events progressed, with them out of the car, had been charging toward the officer. All of his wounds were in the front. Credible witnesses came forward who saw him do these things. And it turned out that some of the original eyewitnesses had lied about seeing the events at all. So did this mean that the officer and the police department were just straight up good guys with no fault and no responsibility? Well, once those neighbors start searching, they didn't stop. The Department of Justice investigation revealed that the police and court system in Ferguson was systematically corrupt and racist, constantly treating blacks worse than whites, and the emails of the supervisors revealed that racism ran deep in their communications with each other. What cases like this show is that the first shouting is rarely the most accurate and complete reporting. As believers, James counsels us to be swift to hear, but slow to speak. There is an advantage to speaking first, but we must be careful that what we say will hold up to the investigation that will surely come. And we should be careful about immediately jumping on anyone's bandwagon until we've checked things out, heard the other sides, looked at the context. That's especially relevant today with constant reports about COVID-19 and what should be done about it. Often research is getting pumped out there without a chance for peer review, which doesn't mean it's wrong necessarily, but means that it should be taken carefully. It's not that everyone's always lying, it's simply that the first to speak often doesn't have all the facts or doesn't give all the facts and is easily mistaken because they haven't had much chance to listen before they spoke. So let's be careful both in our speech and in our deciding. Let's seek to be as accurate as we can right from the beginning, because this warns us that investigation is coming. It might look good at first, but will you still look good after they have all the facts? And then secondly, before we make decisions and jump into causes, to make sure that as much as possible we do have all the facts and all the necessary perspective. Now, I hope this video is a help to you. If so, hit like on it and subscribe to our channel for more like it. Feel free to share it around with others that it might help. We'd love to hear from you in the comments section or through our website at dextergospel.org. Until next time, I hope you stay well and listen well.